Hi, my name is Holger Hornes. I'm the manager of Intelligent Systems at Pepperl+Fuchs. In this video, we will cover another configuration example for our safety controller. In this example, we will configure a safety system for two-hand press control and also add a light curtain. Now, the light curtain is just something I picked. You could put an e-stop on or any other type of safety function you want, or if you really are only interested in two-hand press control, then you certainly don't have to use a third device. The configuration in this case is slightly more complex from a point of view of the safety logic, and I will not do it step by step, but instead I will show you what it looks like when it's done. This example can be uploaded from our website, and if you are interested in following along, you can certainly get a copy there and run it. So let's take a look at some of the important changes in this case. The first step is I want to show you how I configured the safety I/O. So I'm going to click on this icon up here, which pulls up the information about monitor and bus window. So I called it two-hand control with light curtain. I selected the hardware, and then we go to the tab on the right and take a look at the way the inputs are configured. I'm using Pepperl+Fuchs palm button capacitive safety switches, and those happen to have anti-valent contacts. That means that one of the contacts is open, the other one must be closed, and vice versa. So in contrast to most of the examples that we have given you at this point in time, where we select safe input dry contacts, we have to use the safe anti-valent input. The light curtain is of course an electronic device, so therefore it is selected over here as a safe input for electronic devices, and we still have the reset connected to this contact set S7, S8, and it has been turned into a standard input and messaging output contact set. So we may use this or may not use it. I'm not going to change that setting. So I click OK and open the configuration that I have loaded earlier. So this looks a little more complicated, but I want to go through what happens. Up here on the toolbar, we can resize if we wanted to. So since I'm cutting out, I can make it a little bigger, smaller, or if I don't care to see the output, which is again a stop category 0, I can go back into the enlargement. Palm button 1 and palm button 2 are our two safe inputs. And what is new in this particular configuration is that we can utilize a device within the same configuration several times. So you can see that palm button 1 and palm button 2 show up again here. These are truly copies of each other. So what happens is I take these two palm buttons and connect them by virtue of an AND logic block. Logic blocks are in the device library, and I need to scroll up a bit to get to those. Oh, that was too far. Here they are. So there's logical ANDs and ORs and flip-flops and delays and pulses and a number of other things. So what this means is that only when both palm buttons are activated simultaneously will this AND block turn into a green, a true function. So this construct up here, these three, they manage the function of, do I have both my hands on the two palm buttons at the same time? That's what's checked up there. Now, let's take a look at what happens here. Here I take a palm button and I connect it to a pulse. This is a pulse that lasts 500 milliseconds. I do the same with the second palm button, which also creates a pulse of 500 milliseconds. Now the output of those pulses are then ANDed together. So what this part does is when I have my hands not on the palm button and I then put them on the palm button, it checks that my hands are activating the palm button within 500 milliseconds. So if I put my hand on palm button 1 but not on palm button 2, then this pulse will be true for 500 milliseconds, but this one will not, and as a consequence, the resulting AND function is never going to be true. So here we check that we are synchronized within 500 milliseconds. Of course, this timer can be changed, but 500 milliseconds is a standard time. Perhaps for other functions, for other operations, other safety systems, different timers are necessary, different timers, so they can easily be changed by double-clicking. And when the detail Windows shows up, then I can provide a different timer setting over here. Okay, so now I have this. Then I utilize those two AND functions into a flip-flop. And this flip-flop works the following way. There's a hold condition and a set condition. And by double-clicking on the flip-flop, the detail window shows up, and let me move this over a little bit, and down here is the truth table. So the way this works is if the hold is off, then no matter what the set function is, the output of the flip-flop is always 0. When the hold is on and the set is on, then the output of the flip-flop will go to on. And when the hold remains on, but the set function goes back to a 0, then the flip-flop retains whatever its previous state was. So in a sense, this is a 1-bit memory. It memorizes the state of this input at the time the set is true. Okay, and then the whole thing then goes into the global AND, and this is where I have the light curtain. So currently, let me double click on the light curtain. The light curtain is a function that is not reset. I do not have the local acknowledgement turned on. And since I utilize an automatic start here, everything will auto start once the safety configurations are satisfied. So let's take this, download it to the controller, and simply watch what happens. Okay, so right now both palm buttons are not activated. So let me just activate one palm button. What you see is that palm button 2 up here is green, but because palm button 1 is not green, the AND is a red function, a true, a false, and so the hold is a false, and nothing will pass through the flip-flop. At the same time, let me undo my palm button. For a short amount of time after I activated the palm button, the output of the pulse will be yellow, just for a little bit, in this case 500 milliseconds. And again, because palm button 1 does not activate, nothing is going to come out of the AND function that synchronizes the two 500 millisecond timers. So I release this. Next, I could of course do the same thing with palm button 1. They're completely symmetric. But if I succeed in placing my hands within 500 milliseconds over both palm buttons, then you will see that the entire chain turns true and the safety contactor will turn on. It is at this point completely irrelevant that the set input is yellow, because if you remember from the truth table, I can show you that again by double clicking on the flip-flop. Once we have activated the output by having hold and set true, as long as the hold function remains true, then it doesn't matter that the set button, the set function goes away. The output will be retained in its previous state, which is the on state. So we've latched in the fact that both of these buttons here are activated. If I therefore then remove one hand from the button, everything must shut down, since the hold is a false now, and I cannot re-trigger this operation. And that's one of the important requirements of two-hand control, that it's anti-tie down and anti-repeat. I need to take both hands off before I can restart the system by putting both hands back on. Now, while all this is running, if I interrupt the light curtain, the system will of course turn off, and by releasing or taking my hand back out of the light curtain, it will start up again. But as I said earlier, you can get rid of that function very easily, or you can add a reset, or you can add an e-stop, or do any other function that you need to tweak the system to your needs. The main part here is the added functionality through the logic to do two-hand control in this controller. I hope you found this configuration example helpful. Please watch our other videos discussing the Pepperl+Fuchs safety controller.